Hi, I'm Sonia Shivago.
I'm Adriana Villi.
We are actors,
Writers,
directors,
producers,
and we're two best friends
who made a movie
about two best friends.
Our movie is called Virgins by Choice. Join us for some real girl talk as we dive into some deep issues.
Unfiltered
Yes.
girl talk. You're welcome.
Real life, baby. Real life. Hello, Internet.
Hello, Internet. Today we're talking about infidelity.
Ooh, serious topic. We're all smiley at the beginning of the show, but that's actually a serious topic.
It is. And
Yeah.
it's something that we explore in our film, Virgins by Choice,
Yes.
in a few different ways. You know, we won't give you spoilers, but
No spoilers.
both
but-
our characters deal with betrayal.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, let's talk about it.
Okay. So, would you ever forgive a partner who was unfaithful? It's my question for the day.
I think that for as much grace as I may have, I don't think I could do it.
No?
No. I
Not
don't
even
think I
if it
could.
was just an accidental kiss in the hallway at a party and you were a little drunk?
I mean, I feel like my initial answer is no. I don't think there's any circumstance where I would be okay with that, just because I think that the trust would be broken and I would never be able to get past that.
Yeah.
But obviously there's a lot of, I can only say it from where I am today. You can never really say never. You don't really know until you're in the situation. And I think that circumstances maybe do matter, and maybe that's how some people are able to forgive their partner. Like, I can put myself in those shoes to say where I get that, right? Like, there are certain situations where I'd be like, oh, like what you just said.
Yeah.
Maybe the person was really drunk and they pecked someone on the lips. Is it considered cheating? It might still be, but maybe you could get past that. Whereas, if somebody full on slept with somebody else, even if they were drunk, I don't think I would not.
Yeah.
I think I would have a really hard time to get past that, personally.
Yeah.
But I do understand it's like really complicated, right? Like I think, I've done a lot of reading on stuff and how like breakdowns like this happen. And it can be where people realize that something was wrong with their relationship before it got to that point. Like and you can do this, I think, from any side. For women, for example, we need to be seen. We need to feel like our partner adores us and thinks that we're beautiful. And when women feel unseen and unappreciated, it's like, that typical, oh, maybe some guy at work is now paying you all these compliments and listening to you and giving you that emotional connection, like that you're maybe not getting at home, where you've just got into a routine with the regular daily life and you've grown apart from your partner and you feel like someone's paying some attention to you. And that can happen in the same, like in the opposite, the other partner could feel the same way. Like maybe like for guys, it's more like they need to feel, it's similar things, right? Like if they don't feel like their wife values them, or again, there's the whole thing, like they may not be having sex anymore.
Yep.
And there's a ton of reasons why that could be. And that's not to put blame anywhere, because there's like, that's a huge thing, right? Like, especially for women, if we don't feel like emotionally connected, our sexualities it's tied to so many things, right? It's tied to that emotional connection. It's tied to stress. Like sometimes women are stressed and that affects maybe if they feel like being sexual. So it's like sex as a part of a relationship is such a huge thing, that if there's trouble in that area, again, you can kind of maybe trace it back to some things that are hurting in the relationship. Doesn't make what happened right. Yeah. It doesn't excuse the behavior.
Yeah.
You needed to take it like 15,000 steps back to maybe not get to that point, if you're married, especially, but even if you're in a committed relationship of any kind, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, we can understand and we can kind of, not that there's a justification, but we can understand the psychology
Yeah.
behind what could have led to the betrayal.
Yeah.
But, you know, at the end of the day, before you take that step, right, there's a conversation that needs to be had with your partner. Hey, where I'm not feeling seen enough. I don't feel like we're making time for each other, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, could it be seen as a little bit of like a cowardly way out of a relationship? Or sometimes people do it because they want to end the relationship, but they're too afraid to
actually have a conversation.
Then
So
they
true.
actually sabotage it and want to get caught because they don't know how to speak up. So it's coming from like a problem in the communication, right? Because no matter how bad your relationship is, you should be able to talk about it and end the relationship before starting the next one, right?
Yeah.
Because then at least, but here's the thing, we human beings are not always like, we don't always do the right thing. And if we are afraid to have those hard conversations, then we're going to make these decisions that are going to make us have an even harder time in the future, right? So it's like, think about yourself in the future. Like for me, I can kind of, and it also for me, it's important if there was a betrayal, what does the person do next?
Oh yeah.
Right?
So true. Yeah.
Because like, okay, let's say this thing had it happen at a party and you say right away, I messed up. I feel really bad about it. This will never happen again. That's much easier for me to digest than, oh, I'm never going to tell you. And now I'm going to start an affair with this person I met at the party. And a year goes by and I'm leaving this other life. And then you find out and they were never going to tell you. For me, that's unforgivable because
there's been so much lying and so many opportunities for you, the honest conversation to happen.
If you don't have remorse, if you don't feel guilty about it, then it kind of says something about your character, and it's revealing that maybe that person doesn't have your best interest if they're able to do that to you and not care about your feelings.
You can hear this from so many different ways, because like sometimes I feel like I've heard people say, well, I never meant to hurt the person. So they do. Maybe that is a thing. Like it's not intentional when it happens, but it's like what you're saying is so important. You maybe in that first instance where the line was crossed, you know, you went too far and then you realize it. But then if you're continuing on in that way, then it's like you're continually like hurting that person over and over each time.
It's selfish because what we say to ourselves, oh, we don't want to hurt the other person. But really what we're saying is we don't want to get in trouble. We don't want an uncomfortable conversation. And we don't want this to ruin our relationship, let's say. So maybe we can just like, you know, brush it under the rug and forget it never happened. Because if you're thinking for the other person's best interest, you want to give them the opportunity to say, you know what, that crosses my line, I'm done. But you don't even give them the opportunity. You don't give them all the information up front. So you're not really thinking about their best interest, but you're saying, I don't want to hurt them. But really you don't want to deal with the pain of the hurt. Like you're just projecting that on them because it's embarrassing and it brings up shame and whatever. But again, if you have a relationship with yourself that's self-loving and you did make a mistake, it's going to be easier to have that conversation. If you hate yourself, it's going to be easier to cheat because you're kind of escaping from yourself. And maybe there's a reason you're not satisfied in your relationship that has nothing to do with the other person. Like you always need something new. You need the novelty. There's something wrong with you that you're missing. So you're trying to fill it with all these new exciting, you know, affairs. But really, like, why do you need all that? Like, why is this person not enough for you? It's not them. It's you that's lacking something. So that's my opinion. Now, in the film, we have a character, Luna, who, an interesting situation. So her and her husband open up the marriage to like a polyamorous like type of relationship where they're allowed to have experiences because she comes out as bisexual and she wants to explore that. But they have some ground rules and they have, they need to be transparent with each other. They need to know what's happening and they can't bring anybody to the home. So now when the betrayal takes place, you know, some people would say, well, you opened up the relationship. You kind of did this to yourself. Like Luna had this coming. Luna, like, we can't really empathize too much because you should have known better than to open up your relationship, and that would like create problems. But there are people who successfully do that. It's very, very difficult, and both people have to do their research and be educated in it to do it well, to do, like ethically non-monogamous. Like, but it's an interesting topic, right? Like,
well, I think
what do you do in that situation?
That's the thing, right? Some people would say that. Some people might say, well, if you're in an open relationship, then, you invited that in. But a betrayal or like infidelity, if again, if there's ground rules and people are saying like the what was said was that you're going to be honest with what's going on, right? Like if that's part of the agreement, then if one person just goes off and does something without being honest about it, then that's still a betrayal, right? It's still, because now you're hiding something. It's like it's becoming secret. So it is different, I believe. I think the whole thing is about infidelity is about trust.
Yeah, and breaking the trust.
And breaking trust. And that can still happen in that situation if there were certain things that were agreed upon that then, were broken, right? Like agreements that were broken. And I think that can't just be cast aside like it's not important, right?
Yeah.
Because that's the whole foundation. And I think that's what I mean when I say for me, it would be so difficult to be able to forgive someone for that, especially like if it's a complete crossing of the line, like, the person slept with somebody else. Like it's like, I can't, it's a huge leap to be able to trust that person, but people do. And they end up going to therapy, and the person is remorseful, and they want, like, especially if it's like, you're talking about someone that you've built a life with, that maybe you have kids and like a family and a home. And now that all of that hangs in the balance, like maybe that's, a reason people choose to stay together if that person shows remorse and that they don't want this to continue, right? Like they want to change. They realize what they've done. But again, that's going to take a lot of work on both sides. The person that needs to forgive and the person that needs to earn that trust back and earn that they're safe, right? Because I feel like that's such a feeling of being unsafe with someone. Like when someone crosses that line, it's like, my heart is not safe with you anymore, right? My heart is like compromised.
And then you have those sayings like once a cheater, always a cheater, and all these ideas, right? Like, it could be that this one person made this mistake one time and never will again, right? And once they saw how painful it was, they learned not to, and it was kind of like a rookie mistake. Besides like a repeat offender. Right? It's interesting.
It's an interesting conversation. I mean, I'd be curious to know if anyone out there has ever asked their partner that they're dating or person that they're dating if they ever cheated on somebody, and see how that, what that response is like. And again, if there are, I mean, things people do, especially like when you're young, maybe you have a little bit more grace for that because you're still learning your own values and where you stand. But, that'd be something hard for me. Like if that's something a repeat, I cheated on all my girlfriends. I probably would not be able to handle that. Or would want to by any means. That would just really be a turnoff for me.
Also, I think that let's say betrayal happens and you do want to work through it. I think there needs to be like a realization that what you had before is done. Like you start a new relationship, and Esther Perel talks about this a lot, like with couples that are dealing with that. You start like let's say it was a marriage, you start a new marriage, right? And you get to decide what this one's going to look like, but you have to really start from scratch because you got to build that trust from scratch.
All the way from
so
scratch.
It's not like you're saving anything. You have to realize like that will never be the way it was, but you can have another relationship, and maybe it could be better if you're both more self-aware. You get a couples counselor, you realize what you're doing, and you shift that into a new dynamic, you can have a successful second relationship. But that first one is dead.
Yeah.
Like you need to realize there's no salvaging that. You're not going to be a zombie. Like nobody wants to be a zombie in a relationship.
No, yeah, you have to acknowledge like that pain has occurred, and now it's like it's true. It'll be something totally new.
And maybe you need to grieve that. Maybe you need to take some time before you say, okay, let's work on this, to just grieve the loss of that first relationship. And then decide, is it worth putting in all this effort to start a relationship with this person again? Or, is it time to move on? It's going to be like maybe even more work to start again with this person, because now you have like
something
a
to
bad
overcome.
experience, right? That's, we're starting from scratch with someone else. So, but I do believe, and I have seen couples that they've had like an experience that really was a wake-up call, and it really enhanced the relationship, but it took a lot of effort for that to work, and it turned out well for them. So it's really case by case. But I think people have a lot of opinions about it, and then you put in your morals and your values into it and what you believe in, and if
it's hard.
It's hard to keep an open mind for forgiveness if that goes against your values. And even you could say like, I want to be with you, but I cannot be with you. That's my line. Like that's my boundary. And I wish you hadn't crossed it. I wish you hadn't ruined it. Because I still love you, but I know in myself, I can't be with you because I'm always I'm not going to be able to trust you again.
And I think it's like, I mean, sometimes we have to be so careful, right? Because we do love the person. So you might, in one sense, maybe you're so angry and, you don't want to be with them, but then you might forgive them or stay just because you love them so much, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But I think it's that what happens next, right? Like what is happening next? I feel like I don't know how you recuperate from something like this without some type of outside help.
Oh yeah,
like therapy. Like
you need some outside
reinforcement. I don't know how that's possible. Like because again, it didn't start from that line crossing usually. And not to say again that anybody is responsible. Like if the person cheated, then it was your fault. Absolutely not. But whatever was going on in the relationship that was broken needs to be looked at, because otherwise it can just happen again. And that's the thing, we were talking about hard conversations. I think that's the beauty of having an outside person who's a professional, like a therapist, helps us to learn how to have these hard conversations, because maybe, who taught us? You know what I mean? Like, it's not something maybe that was taught to you growing up. So you don't know how to have those conversations where it's like, maybe it's I feel like I'm not really in a sexual mood when, I haven't talked and connected with you heart to heart in weeks. And then, so there's that. Or it's the opposite. It's like, but that's for another person, it's, well, connecting with you sexually is so important to me, and I feel so far away from you when we don't do that. So this is the thing. How do you find that middle ground, like without some outside help and getting to, the root of some of these things? But it's hard. I mean, that's like, I think it takes two really committed people that really value their relationship and value saving it to really work that hard to try to get over it. And there's no guarantees. There's no guarantees that you'll go to therapy and the person who was cheated on will forgive. Maybe the therapy will come to a point where they'll realize, actually, I can't continue on. Right. So you don't know. It's a really hard, I don't wish that upon anyone. I don't wish anyone to go through what it feels like to have someone cheat on you. And that's why I think, like, for me, talking about values, I think it's like, I would not be able to do that to someone if I felt like this relationship is over, or if I'm like, or I'm attracted to someone else now, or something is going on and this is not happening anymore. Like, I would have to have that conversation and end what is happening now before, going somewhere else, just because they're worth that, like that other person is worth that just because they're human, like to give them that, to honor things and to just close the door,
And this works if you're, mindful in a healthy state of mind.
Yeah.
If you're not in a healthy state of mind, you're not going to make the decisions that are right for you or your partner. You're
so
going
true.
to act out in all these ways. So in a way, it's a wake-up call. If you do that and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe what I've done. I never thought I would be the type to do that.
And that happens.
It's actually a wake-up call.
Like, what's going on?
That, there's something with you. And again, maybe it's not the relationship. Yeah. Maybe it's not that the relationship is missing something, but it's that you're missing something. You're not giving yourself something.
Yeah.
And then you can say, wow, I'm not doing well because this really went against my values.
Yeah.
How did I get here?
Yes.
And then, you have humility. You don't try to justify because nobody likes that. Like why you did it. Like you did it. Take accountability and say it was wrong. Right.
Yeah. You can explain where you're at. You can talk about, whatever, but it's like,
but the person's allowed to be mad, pissed off,
I think
they're allowed to feel those feelings.
Yeah. A very unrealistic expectation that you tell someone this and they're just going to be like, oh yeah, cool.
Okay. You need a little bit of a reality check.
Yeah, exactly.
But it could save your life in a way. You acting out could wake you up from a bigger problem, like that you didn't realize you weren't happy, right? And so all of a sudden you realize, wow, I'm depressed, and you get help, and then you don't do something stupid later on, because of this. So sometimes we can say these things work for us. I think what the danger is that after a betrayal, there could be a second betrayal of the self for both partners. So let's say somebody cheated on you, and you don't feel good about that. And your truth is, I need to walk away. But you love this person too much. You don't want to. And so you do a self-betrayal and you stay with them, and you then cheat on yourself, right? You cheat yourself out of what you really want. So it's almost kind of like a domino effect of betrayal that happens once this happens, right? Yeah. Like, I think the best thing you can do is just take time for yourself to think about really, how you feel, and if what's the right thing for you moving forward. Yeah. So you don't betray yourself. Yeah. And actually betraying your partner is an act of self-betrayal too. Because totally. You're hurting yourself, you're hurting the relationship, right? Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Don't do it, folks. Stay in school. Talk to your lover and tell them how you're feeling. Don't act out. But I mean, if you do take accountability, and I guess, I mean, there's not the end of the world. You can learn and grow from it.
Totally. So much more respect for someone who does something wrong or does something, and then is able to take that accountability and own up to it. But so much more respect than trying to hide it. And I'm not saying maybe they don't tell you like right the next day, but like maybe they need to like figure out how to do it. But like within a reasonable amount of time, they get the courage and they own what they've done.
And if you have a positive relationship with yourself and you're loving to yourself, and you say, I've done this, and I'm ashamed, but I will continue to love myself through this, and I have made this mistake, but I'm still worth loving myself even though I made this mistake, and I don't now need to keep beating on myself. I just need to seek the help and take accountability and try to make it right. Yeah. But just having a pity party about what an asshole you are now, it's not really going to help anything. And again, it's what you do next. So even if that person says, you know what, that crossed my line, I won't give you a second chance, at least you could live with yourself that you had honesty and integrity about it after, and you owned up to it. Yeah. And you're willing to not do that again. And that's what's most important, because at the end of the day, that relationship to yourself has to take priority, right? Yeah. And if it's too late for the saving, not saving, but like restarting this relationship and being in this person's life, then if it makes you better, it's worth walking away. So, at the end, there's a reason this all happened, and you can use it to work for you. Like it was a wake-up call for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is the thing, right? I mean, you're talking about, these are like healthy trying to be better versions of ourselves by having self-awareness and reflecting on the things that we've done so that we can be better tomorrow than we were today. Doesn't always work like that. Right. Not everyone has that intention for their lives. And I feel like, you know, if you've been on the receiving end of having someone cross the line and cheat on you, you know, I totally feel that. Like, that is so difficult to go through, and it's not your fault. I feel like a lot of times we blame ourselves when something like that, you know, might happen. There's always a lot of layers and complexities when it comes to relationships.
So anyway, just a little bit of food for thought on infidelity. Please comment on what you're comfortable with. If you've, you know, ever forgiven someone, or if you were the one to have been unfaithful, and what you learned, or what your thoughts are. Would you forgive a partner, and what would make you forgive them? You know, $1 million. $1 million if they gave you $1 million.
Hell no. That's where I'm at. Maybe that's what you're gonna write in the comments. We'll see.
Right. Yeah. Well, you know, you can forgive but not forget also.
True.
So you could say, all right, that's fine, but again, this ain't gonna work out anymore because now I see you differently. You have fallen from grace, from the pedestal. I mean, we shouldn't put people on pedestals, but still, you know, like, you know, this is kind of the loss of respect, right, that you have for the other person is going to be something you have to work through. Trust, respect. Anyway.
It's a lot. That's a lot. Let us know what you think. Comment below if you liked this video. Subscribe and give us a thumbs up.
And check out Esther Perel's work. She talks about this in great length and is a really great resource for anybody who's been dealing with this.